my partner in crime, Yasmin. Unfortunately, she is today attending another another learning session. Yeah, so I'm alone. I'm the first time I'm alone. Yeah, in this show. And just a quick introduction about me. I've been in the learning and development area since year 2000. I do facilitation, I do coaching, I do training. But what I love most is doing design, learning design. Um, and the L&D show is actually something that I and Yasmin have always wanted to do years and years ago. Because when we went into L&D, we realized that usually when we are in L&D, we tend to learn on our own. You know, it would be nice to have actually something like a platform or a place where practitioners can teach practitioners. You know, so for practitioners by practitioners. So he has always had that idea, and the MCO being the great catalyst that it is, yeah, pushed us to actually go like, you know what, maybe it's time for us to do that. And by the way, this is the 10th installment, yeah. And we run it once a week. We have only not run it once, one the week we did not, but so far we have been consistent every week. Yeah, so that's about a little bit about L&D show, and the format. Our format is a conversation. Yeah. So what happens is that it's like a guest show, a guest talk, a talk show. Yeah, guest show, talk show. Okay, so yeah, so excuse me because don't have my anchor Yasmin around. She grounds me. Okay, so the format is a guest, a talk show where we have a guest, and the guest will then we will have a conversation around a particular topic. And the idea of the L&D show is to actually take one topic in L&D and to drive it a little bit deeper. Yeah, so that's the idea. So therefore, what you'll be having today is a very specific topic within L&D that a guest speaker that is a practitioner in that area would then be sharing their knowledge. And this is gonna be around 45 minutes of conversation. And of course, while we are in conversation, please do, those in Zoom, you could always put in your questions or your comments or your insights. Yeah. So not just questions, we welcome and we love to also hear your insight, because as you know, different people will hear different things and different learnings will come in. So we do value your insights. If you have something that just popped in your mind, yeah, when you're hearing the guest speaker or me asking questions, put it in the chat. We would love to hear your thoughts, your insights as well. Yeah, not just your question. So throughout the session, please do drop that once every so often. We are live on Zoom and we're also live on Facebook. So for those that are on Facebook, please do so as well. Just pop in something in the comment. Someone will pick it up and then will make sure that I am private. I will be able to see it, and I will also be able to pick it up. So those are the two channels that we are live on, and both are you can interact with us in that manner. Yeah. And after 45 minutes of conversation, we will then have a very specific time for about 10 to 15 minutes just on question and answer. So this will be very specific to asking to answering your questions and your curiosity. However, that shouldn't stop you from just putting your questions along the way, because those questions could also be offered to Prof. Zainal, our guest, and our guest will be able to pick it up and then take it and incorporate it in in our conversation. Yeah. And after the Q&A, we have another segment called Task and Ask. So this is a question. This is a segment that has nothing to do with the topic. Where what we will do is we will then challenge the guests to choose either a task to do online or to answer two questions, and get us to ask them two questions, and the speaker has no option to say no. Right, so they still have to do it. So some speakers have chosen task, some people have chosen ask. We will see what the guest would choose today, our particular guest. Yeah, all right. So our topic for today, as all of you know, is utilizing I 4.0 technologies in learning and development. Yeah. So what is I 4.0? I will not pretend or even try and attempt to answer that question, we have a guest for that. Yeah, and our guest today is Dr. Zainal Ahmad. Yeah, I call him Prof Zainal. Yeah, so that's and he is someone who is not just a fellow practitioner, but he's also a dear friend. He has become uh, lately. Throughout our history together, he has become a very dear friend, someone that we look up to, someone that are always inspiring us, yeah, Yasmin and I. So a little bit about Dr. Zainal. So I'm gonna introduce him formally. So Dr. Zainal is a fellow, a consultant, and a certified professional coach. And he is also a certified facilitator. In fact, we did our certification together. That was really fun. The most fun and certification that I've had. You know, he was inducted in the Fellow of Academy of Sciences Malaysia in 2017, serving the national agenda for promoting IR 4.0 in science, technology, and innovation. We are talking about I 4.0. This one is RI 4.0. So today we will get the Prof Zainal to actually distinguish between these two things. And I hear a lot about IR 4.0, but what is I 4.0? What's the difference and all that? So that's something that he will help and unpack for us. Yeah, he's also an active researcher, and he has been involved in more than 36 research projects since 1994 and national studies on STI, TVET, and competency standard. He has presented keynote address at international conferences before retiring from USM in 2010. Yeah, and also a double retirement from UNITAN in 2015. Yeah, he served as a VP for Learning and Development in the Malaysian Association of Facilitators in 2019, and that was another place where I got to be really acquainted with Prof Zainal. In fact, both of us were involved in the MAFA committee that was part of the committee that proposes the standards for facilitation to NCS. Yeah. Besides that, he's also an associate of Neo One. And a conversationalist. Yeah. And another thing about Prof Zainal that I really value is that he is a surprise. What I mean by surprise is that every time he comes for a session, yeah, every time he does a session, I don't know what he's going to do. You know, he is that creative. So if imagine this, yeah, a facilitation process that incorporates the Titanic movie. Go figure. That is how creative this Professor Zainal is, Prof. Zainal. And it's always a pleasure being a student of his in any of his sessions. So I'm looking forward to our guest today. So that's my little bit of introduction to Prof. Zainal. I hope it does justice. But yes, Prof, anything that you would like to add on to my introduction, Prof?
Morning, everyone. Morning, Juara.
Morning.
Well, after retirement, I have taken on, I had to let go of my professor title. So I'm now a Cupid.
Yeah.
So basically what I do is I connect people, I connect resources, I connect information to the right people. And it's mostly FOC. The idea is I've interacted with different groups of people. And I just want to bring them together. And that's the spirit for our conversation today. I just want to share with you some of the things that in my other, what do you call, organizations that I am involved in that might be useful for us, the L&D professionals.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Yeah, so we have facilitators, we have coaches, we have trainers, but we now have only one Cupid in our learning and development sector. And I always say, not just Cupid in a way of connecting people, but I always say Cupid because he makes you fall in love with the topic. Yeah, recently he was a guest of ours in a long accelerator for social entrepreneur, and his topic was IR 4.0. And the expectation was, oh my God, 2.5 hours of IR 4.0. But let me tell you, that is one of the most active sessions in that 5 weeks. So he has that ability, right? So without further ado, Prof, let me start off with this thing called I 4.0, IR 4.0, So what's the difference? What is this all about? And what are some of the I 4.0, IR 4.0 that is relevant to learning and development? Yeah.
All right.
So,
Okay,
Prof.
thank you. Uh, Given that this is a conversation, I hope that anyone feel free to pitch in. Imagine that we're just having a teh tarik session, and then if you have any other inputs, just pipe in, or just put it in the chat. So if you would allow me, let me just share with you some background information on the question just now. What is IR 4.0 and what is I 4.0? I prepared the slides for everybody. Once we are done with this session, I will pass to with Jora, and then Jora can share with everyone.
Inshallah,
All
definitely.
right, great. So uh, I'm now speaking from my interaction with the Academy of Sciences. And I think the Academy of Sciences since the last 25 years have been the champion of STI, Science, Technology and Innovation. And one of the things that we are proposing or trying to educate the Malaysian society is that we need to get up to par with what is called the Industrial Revolution 4.0. Now, some people don't agree. Industrial Revolution, there's no fourth Industrial Revolution. It has always been a revolution. But, we won't get into that. I will just share with you just a basic information about Industry 4.0, sorry, IR 4.0, and then Industry 4.0, and then let's have a discussion about it, all right? So, what is the fourth IR? Basically, imagine, since the 1700, with the advent of technology, people have taken on or used new technology in daily lives, and the idea is it was industry driven. So with that, it is a total transformation for a new system. So imagine, for example, in the first industrial revolution, we had the creation or the invention of engines. So the idea is you use machinery in place of labor. Yeah. So I think most of us, when we went through school, we've learned about this. Then we had technological revolution with the emergence of energy. So with that, we also had the advent of transportation. So now people are connected through railroads, through what do you call machinery that uses transportation hubs, and most importantly, oil. Yeah. So when we talk about oil, we talk about petroleum. That was the fuel of the second technological revolution, or RR2. Now, when we shifted into the third revolution, industrial revolution, the advent of electronics that helped, speed up and jumpstart a lot of the industries. And the idea is the use or the utilization of electronics in any products and in our daily life through automation and robotics. So if you imagine, or you cannot imagine nowadays, you cannot live without electronics and robots, correct? Everything now, you have somebody, not somebody, something that is doing it for you. Yeah. So I love the idea that now I don't have to vacuum the house. I have this little swirling thingy that goes around and clean the house for me. Yeah. And the fourth revolution is where we bring all of this together. And the idea is, from the academic standpoint, it's the confluence of three worlds, which is physical, digital, and biological. So the idea is all of the technologies, all of the knowledge that we've accumulated to date, and basically for Malaysia, we have identified 95 different technologies for use until 2050. And they are different phases. So the implication for us, the L&D people, is that how do we bring our people, meaning the workers, the people in our circle, up to par? And most importantly, how do we ourselves bring ourselves up to par with the technologies? So that is the challenge. And I hope through our conversation today, we will be discussing a lot more of that. All right. So basically, the idea is when we talk about the fourth industrial revolution, and again, to distinguish it with Industry 4.0, we're talking about the different phases of technological development that has happened. And now the convergence of three different worlds, the physical, digital, and biological. So I'm going to stop there for a minute. Since this is a conversation, do people have any input? Let's have a conversation about this real quick.
Yeah, we could use the chat function. Yeah, the chat function. If you have any comments, yeah, that we can pick up and for Prof to actually be able to see. Yeah, while waiting for that. So Prof, so Industry 4.0 is sort of like an accumulation or a combination of the previous phases of revolution.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this the so for some people it is still a revolution. For some people it's no more a revolution but something that is already here and now.
Correct.
Is that safe to
Yes. And if you notice, one of the challenges for Malaysia is that if you talk about the multinationals, most of the companies from the West, they've already talking about the fifth industrial revolution.
Oh wow.
They're
And
already preparing themselves for the fifth industrial revolution. Then when we talk about, because Malaysian economy is driven by the SMEs, 90,000 SMEs. Many of the SMEs are still stuck either at the second, not even the third, industrial revolution. So you can see the disparity between, what the multinationals are doing and then what we, the local businesses. And then recently, when you mentioned that, I shared with the social entrepreneurs.
yes.
I'm glad that social entrepreneurs are already jumping. Again, we cannot go through the the life cycle of first, second, third, and fourth, and preparing ourselves for the fifth. We need maybe to jumpstart. And later on, I will share with you, how we Malaysians really have to, go get ahead. And with that, we, the L&D people, also have to prepare ourselves. How to prepare our people through training or through, through our L&D activities.
Right. So this from what I hear you're saying is that not just the Industry 4.0 will be affecting the way L&D are going to be practiced, but it is also an opportunity for us to actually fulfill the agenda of getting the Industry 4.0 to be adopted.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's where these are the two sort of area that L&D needs to be conscious of. Yeah, not just for us to be the utilizer of Industry 4.0, but also to be somewhat the group that prepares the country for 4.0.
Yes.
Yeah, and just curious, Prof. When you talk about the country being a little bit behind or playing catch up, yeah. Is this generational? Because you also mentioned about social entrepreneurs being the ones that are adopting, and I noticed the social entrepreneurs are more often than not are the younger generation, right? So do you think this is generational? There's a generational issue about adopting this?
Yes. Again, I cannot generalize, but
Mm-hmm.
we notice that the younger generation tend to pick up the new technologies, especially the digital technologies, better, as opposed to many of the older generation who feel a bit hesitant. But having said that, we also find evidence where many of the senior people take on the technology even better than the younger ones. So I cannot generalize. The issue is more of exposure, I think. If they are exposed more, you will find that they tend to be more appreciative of and they can adopt. I also noticed in terms of the Zoom chat group, there was question about biological.
Yeah,
I will get into
two
that.
questions.
I will get into that in when we start talking about the STIE in a few minutes. Yeah. So
Okay, all
hold
right.
on to that thought.
No problem. Okay, so now that we know this, there's the various 9 technologies that are transforming the industry production. So as an L&D practitioner, yep, how does one select the technology, the I 4.0 technology that is effective for our work? as an L&D practitioner.
All
How do we
right.
do that, Prof?
Now, that is our challenge. Again, through our conversation, and I hope that we'll get more feedback as we proceed here. One of the challenge is that we as L&D practitioner, we have to get onto what we call the digitalization transformation. So basically, how comfortable are we as L&D practitioners in that digitalization transformation? So, and the idea is, how comfortable are we in connecting the technologies? Yeah. So you may use social media, you may use IoT, you may use about this, but how do you bring all of them together in your training and development or in your L&D activities? Now, in the industry, they have already what it calls earmarked this as smart factory. So basically, the merging between cyber physical. You know, if remember just now, we talked about the three things. Here is cyber physical, whereby the factory is now being run through digitalization, connecting what used to be manual labor and becoming automation and now becoming more electrical or electronic driven and cyber, where you can control, you know, one person, if it took maybe a whole line to produce, now one person can actually run the whole line and you can do it remotely. So they have moved towards smart manufacturing. Now, similarly, we, the L&D practitioners, can we actually prepare, for example, if you are what we call factory-based, meaning you are L&D professionals in organization in factories, you be able to conduct training virtually, connecting the different technologies. Because if your company is operating in various sites and internationally, you know, you cannot be going all over the place. And especially with MCO now, you can't even leave the country. You know, but can you utilize the technology and make it interesting enough that people will actually listen to your session? Just like what we're doing right now, you know. So I wish I could have a talking head, you know, a Zainal talking head. You talk about all these crazy things that I can do. You know, I can have a talking head. And I actually experimented on this long time ago, back in 1998, when I was teaching in USM. I had to go to KL and I cannot cancel class. So I had at that time, if you remember, we had very crude technology of, you know, me, a face of me, you know, that can rotate and doing class. Yeah. So something along that line. Now, if you go to the Twin Towers, you have, I don't remember her name, the hologram, you know, and, you know, she could actually pass as a real human. So, you know, things like that. Are we ready for that? Yeah. So, point to remember, IR 4.0 is the transition of adopting the different technologies over time. And the industry 4.0 is more of the digital transformation. How do you connect those technologies
together? Right. Because I noticed here, for example, like the 9 technologies that you put in here, I know for a fact that simulation, the IoT, cybersecurity, cloud, additive manufacturing also to some extent, augmented reality and big data and analytics are used in training here and there. Sporadically. I mean, for us personally, the cloud, the cybersecurity has been something that that is now synonymous to the work that we do in virtual. But this autonomous robot, I'm not very sure. Horizontal and vertical system integration also, I'm not very sure about how do you bring this into L&D.
Okay, excellent point. Juara, if you can imagine setempat.
Okay.
Okay, when we talk about horizontal and vertical system integration, could all of the operations in setempat be interconnected? For example, you don't have to be at setempat in order to run a lot of things that is being done in setempat. Just to illustrate, the air condition. Can you do it manually? Sorry, can you do it virtually?
Yes,
Can you
yes.
monitor the
The
safety or
safety can.
everything? So
Mm.
it's along that line.
I
So
see.
can you imagine, for example, you are somewhere else in Sri Lanka and you
Mm-hmm.
have to conduct a training in setempat. Can
Mm.
a hologram
Yeah.
be in your place?
Right. Right.
Okay,
Eh,
so it takes horizontal and vertical system integration to do this. As a matter of fact, last week I was helping a young entrepreneur who wants to convert his farm in Bachok.
mm.
How to convert his farm in Bachok using Industry 4.0.
And he is not in Bachu, or is he in Bachu?
He is in Bachok,
Okay.
Bachok
Okay.
in Kelantan. So one
Ah.
of the biggest challenge is internet accessibility.
Right.
So
So that, yeah,
yeah,
tak ada itu habis lah.
ah,
Without that, I mean, all this all this integration will fall apart because there is no that channel, right?
correct. So,
Yeah.
if you want to venture into agropreneur, so how do you actually use Industry 4.0 technologies to
Mm,
do, for example, applying the drones, using all of the sensors, then
mm,
monitoring big data.
mm,
What he does is he has this kambing for a goat for keka.
mm.
Yeah. So I was telling him, each one of your kambing could have a sensor, could have a collar to
Ah,
monitor, is this kambing ready?
ready for Kakika or not?
Keka.
Yeah, or is it? Oh, yeah, yeah, because yeah, yeah, you're right. Because or not right now, all those things are done by the so-called expert or master. They were boleh tengok and di macam pakar lah, macam pandai besi and all that. And
Correct.
it's so that is like tacit knowledge that is difficult to transfer, betul? But
Yes.
with technology, tacit knowledge becomes accessible lah, basically, right?
Correct. And when we talk about tacit knowledge, if you
Hmm.
notice the nine industry,
Hmm.
artificial intelligence is not
I wanted to
mentioned
ask you,
anywhere.
where
Yeah.
is AI? Is it in big data analytics?
AI is embedded in all of them.
Ah, right.
Okay. So, for example,
Ah,
can you imagine how do you transfer tacit knowledge from
ah,
like for example, for this agropreneur,
ah.
from his father who had all of these goods for keka, the
Yes.
knowledge now to be transferred into artificial intelligence so that he can now take over the business using AI. Yeah, so
Yeah, yeah,
along that line. Now,
yeah.
we also use AI in what do you call in agro business or agriculture. Uh, you integrate not only the livestock. How about your farming? So
Yeah,
the whole ecosystem. And later
yeah.
on, we'll talk about ecosystem
Okay,
also.
Prof, a quick consulting. Cik, nak buat consulting, minta
All right.
consulting, minta advice, Okay, so what do you think, I mean, in L&D, learning and development, there's one of the things that we do quite often and a lot is the need analysis, right? Training need analysis, learning need analysis, or just need analysis. Do you think it's possible to do lead analysis using big data analytics?
Yes.
So that would be an area that L&D can work on. Yeah. Because now I'm imagining that, just by analyzing the data of training, feedbacks and all that from individuals and their personal development plan and all that, artificial intelligence could actually be predictive about these are the trainings that this person needs.
Yes.
These are the training. So that is something that, would that be constituted as I 4.0?
Yes, and that will be something that L&D professionals or
Mm,
L&D 4.0 people
mm,
will have to dabble in. And
mm.
again, I have prepared another set of slides for future shows where how do we transfer into those L&D 4.0 roles later.
Right. So
Yeah,
that's an example of how we use the I 4.0 with L&D, combining
correct.
that.
Yes.
I
And
see.
and you'll notice also, and again, for people in the group, yeah, you'll notice also all this data that you're talking about.
Mm,
These are the fuel of
mm.
the industry 4.0. Whereas
Ah,
in the previously we talked about petroleum,
uh-huh, uh-huh.
now data.
Yes,
So
yes.
imagine, Juara,
Uh-huh.
the 13 participants in our group today.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the data from all of us,
Yeah, what question they ask,
correct?
what time they come in, things like that, where they're coming from, all those data, I could over time could use it. And the bigger the data is, the more predictive it becomes, right?
Yes. And the
Ah,
algorithm is
yeah.
being used by, for example, Facebook, by any of the social media. So you don't be surprised when suddenly you get all of these advertisements. Like, wait a minute, I never requested this information, and they keep
Yeah.
posting it to you.
Yeah. So guys, the 13 in the room, don't be surprised if to next month there'll be something about IR or IR 4.0 or a subject around that is going to be pushed to you saying that, oh, there's a conference in this, yeah. That means I'm using the data.
Juara, you must remember one of the three things when we talk about Industry 4.0, the most critical things, not only the knowledge, the most critical things is ethics. So
Yeah.
all of the data of all 13 of us,
Uh-huh.
how do you protect our data?
That's also a very the distrust gap, you know. So
Yes.
Dr. Vimy mentioned that I think this could be in relation to what I was saying about the need analysis. We can even compare the expectation and skills required versus what the individual possess. Guidance can be provided on their career development plan utilizing their strength. Yeah,
Correct. Correct.
definitely something that okay, so I'm going to work on that. That could be my first IR 4.0 project in L&D, you know.
Hey, the Cupid have triggered.
Using the big data analytics for AI to do need analysis, you know, automated need analysis.
And if
That
you are
really
organization
grand.
based, if you
Yes.
are organization based, the 100 to 1,000 people in your organization, you have all of this data
Yeah,
now.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So, as an L&D professional in that organization, how do you use this data to prepare training for the future or
Yes,
L&D
yes,
activities
yes.
for the future?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So,
mm.
Jora, if you can allow me to move to the
Yes, please.
next
Yes, please.
slide.
Yeah, I'm like getting excited. Sorry, yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
yes.
Uh, Here's what's happening in Malaysia, guys. I just want to alert you. You're familiar with the Shared Prosperity Vision 2030.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most of us, we are part and parcel of that now. And you are also familiar. We noticed just now we started with 11 technologies down to 10, now 9 now to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Different body of what you call responsible bodies will look at technologies differently. In answer to Dr. Zainal Arif and also to Dr. Vimi's question, what kind of biological things are you referring to, or biological technology are you referring to? We're looking at things along the line of neurotechnology. We're looking at gene
Mm.
editing and modification technology.
Mm.
Again, it raises ethical issues, but at the same time, these are things that could help people in the future. So cancer research, people in terms of
Yeah.
fertility research and things like that.
Yeah.
These are the kind of things that the technology is there already.
Mm.
Uh, these are among the 95 different technologies that have been identified. Now, if you are interested, if you go to the Academy of Sciences website, we have all of the research, all of the studies documented, and all of the information available, published, available for people to use.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, go ahead.
So using this chart, so is this a matter of identifying the cross section,
Yes.
right? And
Uh,
also maybe combining a couple into one vertical, a few horizontal into one vertical,
Correct, correct.
right?
When we talk about leapfrogging, meaning jumping the gun,
Mm.
yeah, we are talking about connecting different technologies. So you can imagine you connect neurotechnology to cybersecurity to advanced material in cancer research. Yeah,
Mm.
in agriculture, you connect sensor technology to 5D printing to blockchain.
Mm.
How do you bring all of this together? Again, for this session, I'm just introducing. I won't go in
Yes.
detail, but in the next session, I will show you or illustrate different examples. Yeah.
Mm.
So the socio-economic drivers are the 10 what we call key economic activities areas identified in the shared prosperity vision
Mm.
out of the 15. Yeah.
Mm.
That is going to drive our country. Yeah.
Mm.
So imagine for the people in this group, there's 13 of us. How many of us involved in energy security, business, financial services, culture and arts, and so on? You may not be directly there, but you may be called, for example, to conduct training in agriculture and forestry, education, smart city.
Yep.
Are
Yeah.
you prepared? Do you have the knowledge base to be able to link some of the things that is happening in those industries as it relates to the technology drivers?
Yeah. So I noticed L&D would be under education specifically. That would be very, would be
That
a
is,
specific
I would say we will be housed there.
house there. Yes.
Yeah, we will be housed there. But you imagine the people in manufacturing, they are both in education and smart technology system because they are expected to bring our people in the factories up to par.
Yeah. I just a case in point. Recently we were approached to do an entrepreneurship subject called discipline entrepreneurship, but for entrepreneurs they are involved in drone technology. So like and we need to understand drone tech, as a potential. But at the same time, we also have the subject matter which is discipline entrepreneurship, but also our L&D practice. How to bring all this together. It's
Correct.
really an interesting jigsaw. To put together.
And I'm glad you brought the issue of drone. You notice drone is not listed in any of the technology drivers.
Yes.
Drone is just the what they call the medium, the instrument. It uses the different technology. So you can connect a sensor to technology to the drone. You can connect weapons to the drone. You can connect advanced intelligence systems to the drone. The drone is just a machine. Some people can call it an automated robots, but even if it's automated robots, there's so many other things that can be connected. Again, Industry 4.0 is about connecting.
Connecting all this together, yeah?
Right.
Okay.
So
all right.
I'm now bringing us to who we are, the L&D 4.0 people or future L&D 4.0 people. Mitch Streeter highlighted that we need to prepare ourselves for digitalization transformation. And I would like us to maybe spend some time to have a conversation about this. Yeah. Now, when we talk about the digital transformation, we as talent developers, we are put into position to influence strategy and budget. Yeah, without having to beg for participation. In the past, training has always been sidelined. People in training or people in L&D has always been sidelined. Now we are being referred to as the expert. Yeah, how can we lead companies in closing skill gaps and upskilling? They are looking to us. Do we have the answer using technology? How can we innovate? Like for example, the marketers in terms of satisfying the demand of employees who wants to have knowledge and skills at point of need. Google now is also talking about you don't need a 4-year degree. You need knowledge. Yeah? You need knowledge. But again, if you look at our public service system, our companies, we are still hung up on you must have certain qualification in order for you to be hired. In the future, that may not be so. So we, the L&D people, have to devise mechanism on how do we actually assess such people coming in. Then we have to create learning opportunities for modern employees. The workforce who are owning over 1.56 trillion, this is in US, student loan debt. In Malaysia, PTPTN, is a big debt for us. How do we then convert the debt into opportunity?
Yeah? That's an interesting question.
Yeah, because you notice, the what we call the debt and the why we are getting the people are not able to pay is that when they graduate, they cannot be hired because they're not technologically there. So we, the L&D people, we have to bring them up to par. And lastly, how do we drive organizational performance? And later, you know, even myself, you know, I was trained on Kirkpatrick. Now with
Yep.
L&D 4.0, Kirkpatrick is no longer relevant. It's not about measuring learning. It's about measuring performance. Yeah. So it's a challenging mindset change that forces us to rethink how we look at L&D. So that's for future workshop. Future. Yeah. All right. So let's have a conversation. People, what are your thoughts?
All right. So maybe if you could read some comments on the chat, Prof. Yeah.
Okay.
Baka commented about my view on IR 4.0 and I 4.0. It seems that to him I 4.0 is a subset of IR 4.0.
Agreed.
And that IR4 is about everything in every sector. So bringing all it revolves around every single facade of our life, I guess.
Yes.
This seems.
If you read the literature, especially the one from European Union, they are talking about Industry 4.0 as a subset of the Industrial Revolution. But what's happening also is that we have to speed up because the European Union, US and Germany, if I'm not mistaken, they are trying to vie for who will come up with Industry 5.0.
Right. So maybe this is an appropriate time for maybe to give you Janice's question. Janice says this: some countries are already implementing IR 5.0, like China. While we want to jumpstart our SME to IR 4.0, how do we close the gap when we are IR 5.0 ready? How do you close the gap? I mean, you did mention about how we are playing catch up, man. So what's your thought on that? And then maybe a comment on how L&D can play that role of
Yes.
of reducing that gap.
I'm speaking on behalf of the L&D platform here. This is where, again, rather than trying to, as I mentioned just now, you want to have cumulative. We need to go through the third IR before we go to the fourth IR kind of thing. We actually have to leapfrog and jumpstart. And our challenge as L&D people is that how do we bring that technology to our people in the factories or in the SMEs, or even in the if you have an open seminar, to be able to link them together and see the value of connecting different Industry 4.0 technologies, like what I shared just now. Yeah. So you don't have to accumulate. And that is what we call, if you talk about Dweck's mindset. You talk about fixed mindset. In order to be somebody, an expert, you need to have this cumulative knowledge. You have to have a growth knowledge. Growth mindset, whereby you need to be able to connect the different technologies, the different ideas together. So try to read Dweck's mindset book.
Okay.
So the idea is, and I think one of the drawbacks now that I've retired from the university, one of the drawbacks is that we force our people, our students, to go through the process of learning, accumulating, and understanding all of the different knowledge. But we forget to teach them how to apply.
Okay, on this note of application, so as an L&D, when does one apply IR 4.0 technology?
Okay, this is where you have, again, you talk about using the big data in assessing the needs of your learners. So given the need of your learners, that's where you choose the appropriate technology. For example, you cannot leave the country now because of MCO.
Yeah, and I have worked in Sri Lanka and Pakistan that is holding me back. That's being held back, because of not travel. Yeah.
So which Industry 4.0 technology will now enable you to conduct the training that you cannot do in person?
Mm. So that means it's either you number one is that utilizing what's already available that you can adopt. Number two is planning for it, right? Because
Yes.
some technology takes a little bit longer time to bring in, right? So
Yeah.
that's also the question Mio Azli was asking. What's the best approach to plan for digital transformation, which I guess part of the IR 4.0 kan ya, in L&D organization.
And later,
So
a
yeah,
bit
one
later,
is utilizing, the other one is planning and then
planning.
executing it for the future.
And Baka is in our group today.
Mm,
Baka will be sharing with you how you
mm,
can have the last,
mm,
again, not a negative way, the last for
mm.
Industry 4.0.
Last got negative here.
Later, I will highlight what last means, and
Yeah.
you will
Okay.
find that this is where, again, the mindset of the L&D professionals have to change.
Mm,
In the past, we say you must have a CIPM, certificate in what they call human resource management, certificate in people personnel management in order to do training.
mm,
That's not true.
mm,
Again,
mm,
the idea now is that you need to be certified in the knowledge field that you want to be using in your L&D activities.
mm.
Uh,
So now you are talking about as we move into IR 4.0, being specific rather than being a generalist is in our knowledge is what is needed now.
yes,
You know?
that's what we are observing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also noticed Dr. Vimy raised the issue of freelance nation.
Mm,
Dr. Vimy, you probably are talking about a gig economy, and that's what the Shared Prosperity Vision is trying to prepare us under RM12. Malaysia is moving towards a gig economy, a freelance nation. So you can imagine that for example, public service system cannot accommodate anymore the number of people in the system. We have one of the highest public servant numbers in the world. Yeah.
mm,
Uh, we are also moving from pension to KWSP, EPF because of that, because the
mm.
government cannot afford.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's
Mm,
happening now, and especially with the pandemic, we find that Malaysia suddenly get pushed into the gig economy,
mm,
uh, where RM12 was supposed to prepare us. The growth of the Grab food industry, all of the food deliveries industries, people are, selling through online and what have you. Those are examples of gig economy. Now,
mm,
again, three questions. One is ethics. The last
mm.
question is ethics. How do you protect those people in the gig economy? Yeah. Under the current legal system, are they protected? Are their rights protected? You know, if anything happens to them, can they apply for SOCSO? Yeah. So these are some of the technological based or driven development that also have to go hand in hand with legal development, or what we call the improvement in our protection of the employees.
So with the adoption of the technology comes ethical, um, well, I wouldn't say issue, but ethical considerations,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
And this, I guess, will not be shy of the learning and development sector as well, right? As we adopt more and more of this IR 4.0 or this I 4.0, this technology, we are exposed to more and more need for us to consider ethics.
Correct. And
Yeah.
for L&D people, for example, what
Mm.
is protecting us in terms of, you've spent hours preparing for your presentation, and suddenly somebody, takes it and use it.
Yeah, it's like slide share. Now we have slide share that you people can share slides. Yeah,
Yeah.
even recently, last L&D, we were talking about YouTube. Yeah, what you put on YouTube. There's also a lot. There's also ethical situations that need to be taken into consideration. Kita tak boleh just simply take video kan or what
Correct.
about other people using our video kan
Correct.
things like that.
And you
I
notice,
guess.
in my slides, I try my best to put the citation or the references.
Mm.
You know, what if you forget?
Mm.
You know, so people can come back to you and haunt you with what they call legal action. You are copywriting my materials.
Yeah, in fact, one of the things that we have started to do and also recommend to our associates is to actually start crediting materials and content.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the things that is happening as you move into bringing in content. I mean, because this all technology is democratizing knowledge, so it's now all available for everyone. And we need to be concerned about that, it's especially in learning and development. I think it's critical for us to be at the forefront of being ethical in knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Juara, if I may,
Yes, please.
I'm going to show the next slide, and then if I can get feedback from everybody, I just want to see how creative they are. Can they use this technology, or have they used this technology in their training or L&D activities? What is this?
3D printer.
Okay,
Is
3D.
it? Yeah.
Okay, how do you use it in your L&D activity?
You're asking me or asking? They're asking the participant.
Again, we're having a cocktail tarik session.
I have used it. Yeah, I've used it.
How did you use it?
I use 3D printer to print the tokens for my games, because my learning and development. I mean, one of the things I do is I design activities, I design games, but those design activities and games are not specific to a need of a client. So dulu is very difficult because I have to manufacture. So usually the quality of my props are not so good. But now with 3D printer, I just get the 3D printer to just print my tokens. So I don't spend a lot. I mean, it reduces my cost and I become more specific and more professional in my prop design.
And you notice that the technology has become more affordable.
Yes.
So,
yeah. Dulu 16,000, dulu 10,000. Now you can get a 3D printer for 8,000. Okay. Yeah, and then local resin, you don't have to import. China resin is even cheaper. So it's getting a lot more cheaper.
And again, just like working with the social entrepreneurs, you even have different outfits now who can help you. Like MTDC and a few others. They have centers that can help you. Can I hear from the other participants? Have you used such technology in your training?
Haryani says she has never used it, although the university she works for have the printer. And she would like to try it one day.
Hey!
Yes, I always love forward movement.
Yes.
Every time I do something like this, I love to hear people, having a forward movement.
Yes.
Yeah, with the session. Thank you, Haryani. Made my day.
Great.
Not yet. Janice is even more specific. Planning to start in 3 months' time. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. No, Hashima say haven't explored. Means that the word haven't means will. Yeah. Okay.
Hashima, the first thing.
Oh yes. Can he create jigsaw pieces for me? Yes, of course. And very specific, Hashima. And that's the beauty about it. Kalau tak dulu, you have to source for the material from China, and sometimes the material and the product that you have might not fit to your actual need that you can modify. Now with 3D printer, straight, exactly what you want, you can develop. Nice.
And Hashima, 9/9 is happening. Go shop at Shopee. Yeah, you'll look for the printer in some of the online online services.
Yeah, Baka is already selling. I'm developing a training program combining design thinking and 3D printer. Okay, Baka, siapa-siapa yang join your design thinking can print things on the 3D printer for free. Okay. If that's okay, then I think let's get Hashima to join.
Betul.
Yeah?
And when I
there you go. See, Hashima says, okay, please sign me up. No, you don't play. By the way, Hashima will be our guest next week. Yeah. Don't play. No. Bangsa macam tu. Done.
Excellent.
Done. Yeah. Excellent.
All right. So the Cupid has triggered. Now, I notice you all tak ada kerja kan, chasing Pikachu and all of these other beings. What technology is this?
Yes. This is the Pokemon game, right?
Uh-huh.
The one that was okay. Someone says virtual reality. Someone says augmented reality. Yeah.
Noni,
Uh-huh.
can you use
Yeah.
augmented reality? Can you use this in your training
Oh.
instead of treasure hunt?
Yes.
Kan?
Ah.
Or looking for other things in your training.
There you go. Dr. Kamaru said, I've done VR surgery in surgery training.
Alhamdulillah, excellent. Thank you for sharing, Dr. Kamarul.
Yeah, Prof, by the way, there is already someone that I know, a social entrepreneur, that uses AR to teach sign language.
Excellent.
Which is wonderful because usually you learn sign language either diagram, which can be, quite difficult, or a video. But kalau AR, you could actually really see it,
So
Kan?
imagine, we
Yeah.
the L&D people, can you use this technology in your type of training? In leadership, for example. Yeah, like, okay, do I put instead of Pikachu, do I put one of the ministers there, or do I put one of the CEOs there? I don't know. Yeah. All right.
Noor is reaching out. Is there anyone who can help me learn how to do this? Learn what? Shima, no. The AR ke, VR or the 3D printer? I co-supervise a student project using AR for kindy students to learn Arabic. There you go.
Can. Yeah.
How to use
Excellent.
VR for my programs, right?
Excellent.
I have someone in Penang that has a VR company that that you can get in touch with. I think he would be the best guy for you to get connected to. Right.
Excellent.
So I will. His name is I forgot. Okay, I'll get the I know. Okay, sorry, Prof. I hijack pula you just like. Okay,
No, good,
please.
No, and I also see Azam in the group. Azam, can you use this, or have you used this in your gaming sessions, the simulations and what have you? Yeah. So think along that line.
Oh, people are getting excited now.
Hey, the Cupid is working.
Yes.
So then I'm just giving an example. This is the little gadget that you have in cleaning your house. Okay. Can you use it in your training? Not to clean your training room, but to use it as part of your training.
Yes, definitely. Because now, the getting cleaners are not easy. And also, I know I'm talking about, I'm excited. I pula jadi excited. No, betul, bro. Cleaning my, not easy. Yeah, definitely something that we can use.
But I'm thinking of using this not for cleaning purposes. For training purposes.
How do you do that?
Okay. Think about, kita kan bila training kan, we call on people like Azam, can you do this? Can you program this so that whoever this gadget goes to will have to answer your question? When you sit in facilitation circle, yeah, this gadget will go towards whoever, instead of, throwing balls and what have you, you have a simple gadget like this. And people will be like, okay, please gadget, don't come to me. Please don't come to me. Yeah. All right. And lastly, drones. People, have you used drones in your training? Anyone?
I have not. But training drone entrepreneurs, yes. 2 weeks from now.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the utilization of the technology for training. But how about you yourself using drone in your training?
Oh, interesting. Maybe treasure hunt.
Treasure hunt, especially
team
if
building.
you're doing, for example, outdoor activities. Can the drone be used in facilitating your outdoor activities?
Can definitely. Video taking for debriefing.
Okay.
Or because sometimes when I do like team building, and we have this activity where it's a circuit, and sometimes the groups are broken into different groups, and they are doing different things at different times. So
Yeah.
yeah, a drone could be my eye.
Okay, there you
Yeah.
go. Noni Haryani is interested. Go for it. So you can imagine it. Now nobody can hide from you.
Oh, good news and bad news lah. Like team building, some people can get hide, right? They go to the
Kan?
yeah, now cannot
Uh,
hide lah.
all right. So have I triggered some thoughts in you in terms of, you use the technology maybe not for what it's intended, but for the purpose of your training. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then when you talk about post-pandemic, even we're still in the pandemic, yeah, how is 4.0 technology changing the way you conduct and facilitate training or L&D activities? How is it changing your training room? And then how is it changing the way you interact with your trainers, your trainees? Yeah. So again, the idea is, do you have the knowledge base in order to be able to capitalize on this? Now, back when I did my sabbatical in University of Florida, 2006, the university itself has all of this already in place. So you can imagine, I go to class, didn't bring anything. Everything was already in the LMS. Our students come in and scan their card to do the training. Everything is accessible. So, people just bring themselves to the class. Similarly, can they do the same in training? And moving forward, again, I don't want to be taking too much time. Sorry, yeah. IoT in your classroom and training room. And I think you notice Malaysia, we're trying to move towards this in our schools and universities. Yeah, but we're still a bit far from happening for this to happen. Yeah. So can you do the same for your training? Yeah. With that, ladies and gentlemen, may I invite all of you to go to www.menti.com and use this code 4455455. And can you tell us which of these technologies would you like to use to facilitate your L&D? And you can choose more than one. And let me share with you the page. And this is one example how you can use such technology in your training. So if you can go into the www.menti.com and use this code and just identify whether can you use big data, autonomous robot, augmented reality, cyber security, additive manufacturing, Internet of Things, cloud computing, horizontal and vertical system integration, or simulation in your training. You can choose as many as relevant. There you go. You see how interactive this technology is? Yeah, it makes your training very interactive, very interesting. There you go. 3 people out of 13 have already given their feedback. Can I have more? Yeah. Even though I don't know who has given their feedback, but at least now I am getting you to interact with me, cyberly or virtually. Yeah. So you see, augmented reality is something that we might want to consider. Yeah. Juara, you were talking about intelligence, data. Yeah. So in your next training under setempat, can you do something about augmented reality for L&D personnel?
Hi, Prof.
Hi.
Sorry. Yes.
Oh, Juara.
I was disconnect tadi.
Tak apa, tak apa. You notice, augmented reality, out of 8 people or 9 people now, augmented reality and simulation, you talk
Wow.
about using data, big data.
Yes, yes.
In your next lineup of training, can augmented reality and simulation be offered in the next
Definitely.
L&D show? Can you do a section or somebody talk about AR and simulation?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah,
So
yeah.
you notice, we're using all of these different technologies nonchalantly, or just to facilitate what we're doing daily. It's
Mm,
nothing new, but it makes a lot of difference.
mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So additive manufacturing, only one person wants to try. Again,
Mm.
don't do it just for gifts. you
Yes.
know if you are doing technical training, how can you use this as an illustrative tool? So everybody, have you gone in? We get maybe three more persons. Yeah. So
Mm.
augmented reality and simulation are the two highest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So Juara, I see light bulbs flashing on your head now.
Teng, 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 teng. Ini I belum lagi.
Yeah.
Kalau I vote, jadi 10.
Uh-huh. Kan? Uh,
Nice, nice. Wonderful, wonderful.
so you notice, even simple technology that is in existence, like Mentimeter, can actually add value to your training. You're using different
Yeah.
technology just to give your participants a sense of interaction, a sense of ownership to the
Mm,
training.
mm.
Okay, so let's
Yeah, yeah.
let's not dwell too much on this. I'll just leave this on until more people or everybody has signed in. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Prof. Just a comment about Mentimeter. I mean, the first time I saw it was with the training that I was part of with No, and I mean, like right now we're using it virtual, but she used it in the room, and I
Yeah.
tell you, it's an amazing simple tool, but it's just amazing how people are responsive to it. So not just a virtual tool, you could also use it in real life, face to face, and
Yeah.
I've seen the impact.
And
Yeah.
I did that with all the public service trainers, 400 of them in
Mm,
Intan. So you
mm,
can imagine it, immediately the people in the room were able to actually participate in the training per se.
mm.
Yeah.
Would you say this would be an entry level involvement of anyone in L&D with I 4.0?
It could be, yes. You know,
Mm,
it's a way to get your feet wet.
mm, mm,
Simple technology, existing technology, before you go to
mm.
the higher end.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, before you go to the higher end.
Yeah, could it be also somewhat a clue for Mio, because Mio asked about how do I plan apa to use digital transformation in organization? Maybe by first using simple off the shelf tech that is available out there. So many of them, you know.
Yes. And you notice Trita just now, she
Mm,
had mentioned, Mitch just now had mentioned, the last thing is how do you change the mindset of your people?
mm,
Because they might not like, using all this technology, but suddenly, wow, this is fun, rather than listening to lecture the whole day, I get to do all of these funky things online. And you
mm,
notice it protects the identity because nobody knows who said what. Later on, when I ask you to do your key takeaways and learning, you can see I would not know who said what, but it's a
mm,
way to interact. And again, ethics. We have to make sure that people abide by certain ethics. Yeah. Now, moving on. Again, time is of the essence here for us.
yes. Yeah.
There are 12 skills with high demand in 2020, and these are the skills that we as an L&D people need to be professing. How many of us are already good and maybe are using project management, coding,
Mm,
Photoshop,
mm,
SEO, Google Analytics?
mm.
You were talking about that just now, Joara.
Yes,
Facebook
yes.
ads, yeah,
Mm-hmm,
web development,
mm-hmm,
copywriting, public speaking. One of our associates, Johan, he just got certified as a public speaker, he's earning 2,000 to 3,000 USD per speaking engagement, for example. Yeah. So how do we then actually use this to market ourselves as L&D professionals?
Sorry, Prof.
Yeah.
Just to inform you, we are not. If you are putting a slide, we are not seeing your slide.
Oh, you're not
Yeah.
seeing the slide. Okay.
No. We are still seeing the Mentimeter punya slide. Yeah.
Okay. Let me just undo that Mentimeter thingy.
And while you're doing that, Dr. Kamarul said that she is listening this meeting while doing rounds. Wow, can you imagine that?
Yes.
The technology that he's using. I mean, and I do agree. Also, at the same time, that like my training, the 5-week accelerator for SEs too. Some of them are already listening in the car. Yeah, because they need to go for their meetings and all that. So I think technology used well can actually support rather than this idea of it's reducing our humanity.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Can you see the slide now?
Yes.
Okay.
It says there when last for I 4.0 technology in L&D.
And
right?
this is the point where we would like to invite one of our new associates, Mr. Bakar, to share about LAST. And what does LAST stand for? Yeah. LAST stands for learner, user, subject matter expert, trainer. Yeah. So when we talk about trying to have a LAST for Industry 4.0, we're talking about this desire to strengthen ourselves as SME, as what they call as L&D 4.0. The most basic is to learn about it. MITI came out with the document, the Industry Forward, identifying 11 Industry 4.0 technologies that is going to be the drivers for Malaysia. Okay. Use Industry 4.0. This is something that L&D professional, I would like to bring to your attention in terms of the theory behind learning. Heutagogy. How many of us are familiar with heutagogy? Yeah, I was first introduced to this concept back in 1989. Yeah, but this is now becoming something that we need to embody.
The subject was touched in our second L&D show.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Then study Industry 4.0. Do you want to be certified with the different technologies? So I'm giving an example of APU. But many other universities have done this. So I'm just highlighting examples. And lastly, train. To be a trainer. So as study just now is for you to be a subject matter expert. Trainer, you need to be certified either by HRDF, TTT, train the trainer, or by CIAS under VTO and DKM. Because our organizations and our country, we are very certification driven. You cannot go around and say, I can do this. And then they will ask, where and who certified you? Yeah. So be aware of that. So just so that, we just highlight, if you want to read more about the 11 enabling technologies, MITI's document, Industry Forward, lists in detail all of the different technologies and how they can be applied in industry, but you need to interpret it in L&D.
Right.
In terms of heutagogy, we were trained, especially people in training or HR, we were trained in pedagogy and andragogy. But we should be now focusing more on heutagogy. And I think when you had that show that day, the spirit of this is that the role of the coach, how do you... Learning support. And then how do you get the learner to be self-determining? And that's the challenge.
Yep.
Because in many industries now, people come to training expecting to be taught, because that is something that they carry forward from their schooling days. Now it's totally different. You notice even in my session here, I'm trying to get everybody to converse. But it seems like only Juara and myself are conversing. I'm not listening. I'm not hearing other people's voice.
But they're using technology, text.
They're using technology text, right?
Yeah.
But remember, in training, when you use text, when you read, you
Mm.
only remember a certain level.
Mm.
When you converse, it
Mm.
stay in your mind because you're hearing it. You're focusing on it.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Mm.
these are some of the things to think about.
Mm.
APU, for example, in their courses, they outright spell out what Industry 4.0 technologies are being taught or the basis of that particular course.
Mm.
And lastly, to be trained, to be Industry 4.0 trainers, you need to have the TTT as well as the VTO if it's very technical.
Mm.
Yeah. So lastly, may I invite Juara, with your permission,
Yes.
Mr. Bakar to share with us what he did in terms of the last for Industry 4.0. Bakar,
Right.
can you share?
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Prof. Zainal. I didn't expect this to be shared in the. Okay, I didn't expect this to be shared because I put this on my Facebook yesterday. It was just to share my experience during MCO, where I did a lot of learning
Yeah.
using online learning. Actually, I'm a believer in online learning and using technology to enhance our life and our skills and all that. So I've been doing a lot of learning using Coursera, especially the past few months. So, what in terms of technology, one technology that fascinate me is the 3D printing or additive manufacturing. So, I took 4 courses in 3D printing, 3D printing revolution, applications, software and hardware, and I found very interesting capabilities of 3D printing. So, um, I also took some other courses as well in Coursera. So actually, this also is the part of my plan for the future because I'm also partnering with a person who is expert in 3D printing. So I want to combine design thinking and 3D printing as a curriculum, especially for graduates, young graduates, so that they have a different mindset, different mentality, not just using 3D printing, but how you come up with the idea, the solution in solving the problem and all that using the design thinking methodology. So this is what I plan for in the future. So basically, this is my passion for learning and also IR 4.0 or I 4.0, and I've been doing this not only during MCO, but before that also. So it is something that I feel each one of us should do more of, because a lot of things that we can learn from Coursera or from other platforms of online learning, and we can connect to top minds in the world, top experts in the world without leaving our home. So that's the beauty of it. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bakar. And that's a spirit that we L&D professionals 4.0 have to adopt.
Mm.
It's not
Great.
about going for certification per se. It's about this quest for knowledge, the lust
Mm.
for knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a good lust. Yeah.
Mm.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Bakar.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm conscious of time. We only got 10 more minutes,
All right.
Prof. Can ya?
We are
Yep.
done.
So this one. Okay, wonderful. So maybe we can take a few of the questions that has been put on the chat. First question earlier on, Nur Hashima put up for each revolution, what is the impact on the workforce? So that's one question.
Okay. One of the things that you talk about impact of the workforce, one of the challenge for us, L&D 4.0, we've always been asking or using Kirkpatrick to measure learning.
Mm.
Okay. Now, we are being asked to measure what is the impact. Do you have the tool to measure the impact of whatever training or L&D activities that you conducted to your people? How do you measure them? So kalau Kirkpatrick, it would be level 3 and level 4.
Mm.
Yeah. But now the focus is not so much on the learning part.
Mm.
You need to be able, and I think as Bakar highlighted that just now, once he does his 3D training, what is the impact on the user? will they be able to, instead of doing mistakes 1 per 100, can they reduce that 1 per 1,000?
So what you're saying that for each in revolution, the objective is different and it's measured differently. Is it needed? Different things are needed for the
And
workforce.
I think you highlighted a key point there. It's about metrics. We need to identify what metrics to use, and that's the challenge. Yeah. And I noticed that Azam was asking, we are having problems to measure student performance online. Of course, you know, smart student, and you think that they are giving you all of these answers, they just cut and paste. Yeah. How do you actually measure the difference in terms of one student to another? You know, you talk about normative assessment versus summative assessment. Reinterpret that from an L&D perspective. Yeah. In our next show, I will try and go into detail on some of this, but you know, maybe at this time, we also have problem in terms of, for example, we expect feedback in terms of people giving feedback to our training or our teaching, and we are giving feedback in terms of their learning. But we need to be thinking about impact. You know, what is the impact? And even in the Academy of Sciences, we are now talking about impact, social impact, environmental impact, and economic impact of any STI innovations that is being done.
So just not measure learning, but measure impact now.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And if I just one last note on that, we use LFA, logical flow analysis, where you look at input, process, output, outcome, and impact. 5 levels.
That looks like a theory of change.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So another question, maybe maybe just a suggestion, maybe one advice. What is the best approach to plan for digital transformation in L&D organization?
Okay.
I know we have asked this question, but maybe you could give just one specific advice for this.
One specific advice.
A best approach to plan for digital transformation in L&D organization.
Okay. For an L&D organization, you need to be very clear about who your customer base are. And from there, you can actually work backwards in terms of planning for the different methodologies, the different technology to adopt, the different approaches. And most importantly, the different trainers that you want to bring in your training. Yeah, because unless you are very clear in terms of who your customers are, and this is the same advice that we give to industries, it's very difficult for you to have the matrix. Yeah.
Last but not least, from Facebook, Rashid Anwar asked, our IT infra and also mindset are barriers. How can we address this?
You notice Streeter highlighted that change. First, it has to start with you, the L&D professional. Then it has to trickle down and permeate. You know, a drop in the bucket or a drop in the lake. It trickling effect. Simple thing. When I did the Mentimeter, for those of you who have not done Mentimeter before, was it exciting? Was it, fun? Yeah. So you need to break people in so that they see the value of adopting the different technologies.
Yeah.
If you force it on them, for sure there will be resistance. You know, again, theory of change. You know, the force field analysis.
Yeah, I always believe that there should always be onboarding when it comes to this kind of work. There's always an onboarding. There's a slow buy-in lah. Okay. All right, Prof. Sorry, we have only 5 more minutes. And there, I would like to go into our ask and task segment. So, which one would you choose, Prof? The task or the ask?
If you can ask me the questions,
all right,
easier for me.
Okay, I have 2. By the way, while Prof is answering the question, for those of you that have seen the slide right now, you could go to the Menti, use the code to actually key in about your learning, Prof.
Yes.
Yeah, takeaway. Okay, while you're doing
Takeaway.
that. Okay, Prof. I know you are a foodie. Yeah,
Okay.
just like me, you're a foodie, right?
Okay.
And I always admire seeing your Facebook because you always post things to that you are cooking. So let me ask you this: what's your favorite food to cook? Why and why? And
Okay.
also, if you could go give a quick how.
Okay.
Just, favorite food to cook? Why and how?
Okay. Well, my favorite food is curry, but now that it has been taken over by my son, two of them are going. One is a chef, and the other one is a chef at home. So I now have what I call limit myself to more of vegetable cooking for my mom.
Ah,
So basically, I try out all different types of vegetable. Like yesterday, I had lady's fingers, okra, and very simple. Three steps.
mm.
One, you slice the okra or the bende, and also just have a little bit of bawang putih, white onions, and bawang merah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Garlic
then
and shallots, yeah, okay.
shallots. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Then my mom likes it a bit crunchy. So what I do is first I will saute ikan bilis,
Uh-huh.
anchovies,
Uh-huh.
put it aside. With the same oil, I will then put in the onions,
Mm-hmm.
then put in the bende,
Mm-hmm.
then a dash of kamki, the oyster sauce.
Uh-huh.
Put the lid,
Uh-huh.
steam it up.
Uh-huh.
Once it's soft, then I will put the ikan bilis. Ta-da!
Simple. Okay, all right. Okay, next question.
All right.
I know you are from Malawati, yeah, and you always refer Malawati as Melbourne Melbourne
Melbourne water.
Wati.
Yes.
Huh? Say
Melbourne
say
water.
Melbourne Wati. All right. So, and I know you love you there are places that you go. So, um, could you share with us a hidden secret gerai, a best gerai to go to in Melbourne Wati,
Okay.
and for what? Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Two guys.
Okay.
The one that I go for my daily nutrition is warung cengkeh.
Mm-hmm.
That's for your breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Then for little pleasures in life, I would go to the Minang.
Ah,
It's a bit hidden in the main town. That Minang shop, Minang Sayo, has been there for longest time since my mother moved here. Even less better earlier than that.
it's a restaurant.
Uh, it's a restaurant.
Minang Sayo is a name.
Yes, Minang Sayo. Masakan Minang.
Oh,
Okay.
and this is a hidden secret, yeah?
It's a hidden secret. Pasal apa? You can
Okay.
see all of the new restaurants around. Tapi,
Uh-huh.
for people who are there or have been in Melawati for the longest time, this is something that we don't tell people.
Melbourne Wati punya West Cap secret.
Escape secret.
All right. And Warung Cengkeh is in Melbourne Wati as well.
In the food court,
The food court.
area, we had an accident. A drunk driver rammed into it about a month ago. But it's right at the corner, and it serves the best lontong, the cheapest lontong, nasi lemak, and anything. And my makanan ruji or my daily nutrient is bihun.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for answering the secrets and also your favorite dish. Yeah, I will then for everyone else, we are going to have a very interesting topic next week with Nur Hashima on peer coaching. Yeah, do save some time and free your time to come. Yeah, it will be. I will guarantee you, it's going to be a very rewarding a session because I've learned a lot about coaching from No, yeah, and he is definitely very passionate. I always equate No and coaching, one or two together. So do save your time on the 5th of September, yeah. So that's the announcement for me. Last final words, Prof.
Okay.
Before we can close the session around the subject.
I'm not sure if it's showing in your.
It is.
It is.
Yes. Yeah.
If you are interested, we can go into detail. How do you prepare yourself to be L&D 4.0? And I would like to bring your attention our titles for the future. Learning enablement analytics, L&D data analyst, ecosystem developer, instructional architect, employee experience advisor, you know.
Wow.
It is so future oriented. We
Yes.
started from people who are personnel to HRM to talent management. In L&D, we are going through the same situation.
Yeah.
So if you are interested, and Juara, if it's okay with you, I'm more than happy to share with the gang.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Prof. Zainal. Thank you everyone for spending your Saturday morning with us. Yeah, inshallah, God willing, panjang umur, we will see you guys again next week. Till then, enjoy your weekend. Thank you, Prof. Thank you for everyone for being here, and hopefully this has been useful for everyone, and also for the learning L&D sector in Malaysia. So with that, goodbye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.